That's true. No, but that's... All right. Call the meeting to order for the Tuesday, July 17th, 2018 City Council. With that, a roll call.
Abity.
Here.
Altoff.
Here.
Carpenter.
Here.
Duncan.
Here.
Lundell.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Robinson is absent.
We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, it's like a top 10 day outside. Okay, need approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Okay, John and Ken, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
It passes. Okay, public input. Citizens may speak to the issues not on the agenda. Before speaking, please give your name and address for the minutes. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Comments must be pertinent to city business and adhere to data privacy rules. No employee's name may be used. Personal attacks will not be tolerated. Do we have any public input tonight? Go ahead, sir.
Tim Deemer, 70 Riverside Terrace. I just trying to make this as brief and simple as I can because I'm trying to find somebody else to speak on my behalf because of it's very difficult for me. So I'm just trying to figure.
I think it's on.
Yeah, I think it is.
There it
It's
goes.
on.
Yeah.
I don't want to be. So just please consider carefully both sides, issues that have came up in regards to what happened with me getting a no trespass, and I could go into the details, and I'd like to try to, if I don't know how to go about saying.
If I may, this is a matter that is on the consent agenda.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
just gonna
not on
say.
the agenda.
Right.
So
Or should-
I don't believe this is the appropriate
No.
venue for such
Right,
comment.
at this time. If somebody could pull it off and then discuss.
It may be pulled from the
Yeah.
consent agenda to be discussed. It may not be, but it may be, and that would be the time at which comment would be invited. So for the moment,
Yep.
I
You
don't
may.
fully understand.
take your seat. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else about public input? If not, we will go to consent agenda. Items on this area of the agenda may be adopted or they may be removed and placed on the business area of the agenda for discussion purposes before approving. A, just and correct claims, accounting period ending July 11th, 2018. Meeting minutes for May 21st, 2018, Special City Council. Meeting minutes for June 19th, 2018 City Council meeting. D, second reading and adoption ordinance 361, amending Chapter 152 of Cannon Falls City Code, the zoning ordinance, concerning the zoning map and zoning classification for a specific property. E, appointment of Steve Snyder to the Library Board. F, annual funding agreements. G, application for payment number 1 for 2018 street improvement project. H, sale of rescue truck. I, Resolution 2368, adopting primary and general election judges for 2018 and setting the setting the hourly wage. J is removal of library board trustee. K is the personnel committee recommendations. L, resolution 2369, conditional use permit for Ron Stoll on behalf of the Cannon River Winery. M, resolution 2370, variance for 421 Mill Street West. With that, do we have any coming down?
I'd like to bring down item K.
Okay, so K will now be B.
I'll pull down F.
Which one?
F.
F. So that will be C. Anything else? Okay. So, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus F and K?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. We'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? It passes. Okay. So, we will go city ordinance related to number of dogs. Who?
All
Oh,
right.
she's not here. Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Linnell is not here this evening, so I will cover her memo. Essentially, she stated that the city's received 2 inquiries regarding number of dogs per residence.
Yep.
I'm familiar with this. The previous administrator had spoken with me about it, had said that he had done research on number of dogs in other communities around us. She's essentially seeking, council's position or direction on the possibility of changing the number of dogs. She did attach a letter from a person who's looking at purchasing property here in Cannon Falls. And I guess I'll defer to council if there's more information you want from me specifically on this, or if you guys want to have discussion and provide direction, or which your desire is.
Doesn't bother me either way.
It looks like every town around here is gonna allow 3 dogs. We seem to be with 2. I don't have a problem with 3 dogs.
My recommendation would probably be to continue with 2 and look at providing a administrative avenue, some sort of, special permitting, something like that, that would provide the ability to have additional dogs. In her letter, Lindsay referred to, a slight increase of even 1 dog per dwelling to encourage responsible pet ownership. I'm all in favor of responsible pet ownership. In fact, I'm all in favor of responsible people, period. However, as I mentioned in the Public Works Commission meeting, I pulled the number of city licenses this evening or this afternoon. We have 19 persons who have licenses for 24 dogs. I find it very hard to believe that the city of Cannon Falls only has 24 dogs. So that would tell me that we've got a lot of people who are not getting licenses, and while they may be responsible pet owners, they are certainly not being responsible residents and getting their dogs licensed. And so if we up our numbers, we have absolutely no avenue to take any action if we've got people who are not being responsible pet owners. On the other hand, if you hold it at 2, provide for the ability to get additional animals above that through a permit process, the city would ultimately have the ability to revoke a permit and bring them back down to 2.
So if they had more than 2, they'd have to apply for a kennel license or something?
No.
We could create whatever it would be. It wouldn't have to necessarily be a kennel license.
It could even just be an
Other
exemption.
cities are using a kennel license if they exceed their numbers.
I
I
think-
think you could do this more of it as an administrative thing, much like we do with chickens. You can get a chicken permit, but if you're not a responsible chicken permit holder,
Right.
you lose your chicken permit and can't have chickens anymore.
I don't mind that idea.
Maybe we should move this to a committee to talk about it and work out some details.
Police commission?
You could send it to the police commission. We certainly could look at some of the options. I'd probably talk with the city attorney's office just to make sure, you know, on the components of it. But I really think that would be a much better solution than upping our numbers. You know, Lieutenant Berg and I were talking about, you know, just the number of dog bites that we've seen over the last few years. And those are just the ones reported. We're seeing more of them.
I'd also like to have a person who you have a dog at loose, or what is it, dog at large citation? You don't get to have you don't get to have more dogs.
Honestly, I would probably say we should look at our not just this provision, but our entire animal ordinance and see if we're appropriately addressing the things that we need to address, and if there's a different approach we can take to, you know, provide, one, the ability for people to have more animals, and two, either, you know, get better compliance on licenses, or maybe just do away with that and require some other things that would identify the animal as part of it.
I'll make a motion to table it to the police commission to come up with a solution.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Okay. And personnel committee recommendations. You brought it down, right, Ken?
Yeah, I had a call the other day about this. I guess I'm kind of old-fashioned regarding this, in that when it comes to you know, when you're dealing with a shortage of people, you know, it's always just a matter of stepping up to the plate to get the job done. And you know, so I guess the other thing I have is, are we, if we're going to help give compensation to these employees, what about other people who are not mentioned and have probably already stepped up? You know, now we're creating an imbalance, and then you're going to get resentment. In fact, I've already heard from one city employee who says there is already a little bit of resentment in City Hall over this issue.
But the personnel committee did recommend this?
I want to step in here. I am on the Personnel Committee, along with John and Robbie, and Linnell was there also. Last Tuesday, we met and to discuss these requests from these two employees. And I'd like to give everybody a little bit of background on what goes on here. Our city employees are very well paid. As a matter of fact, I'm reasonably sure there is no full-time city employee who makes less than $20 an hour. And a lot of them much more than that. This is by far and away better than most citizens in this town working average jobs make. Now, on top of that, city employees, and this is in the age of Obamacare, have 100% of their insurance premiums paid by you, the taxpayer. They also have 50% of any dependent coverage paid by you, the taxpayer. So their total package for all the employees, and most employees would actually agree, they're very well compensated. Now, I know of many people just in Cannon Falls who pay over $1,000 a month for health care premiums. And I've got employees here whining that they want extra vacation days for doing jobs that, you know, this is a team concept. You step forward, you do the job. I also often drive by when they have the food shelf at First English, and I think of these poor people that have to get food from there because either they don't make enough money or their health insurance has eaten up their money. You know, and I also think about the average, say, cashier at one of our convenience stores. They might make $9 to $11 an hour with very little in the way of benefits. And in the case of these two requests, a lot of these come about because we have one on maternity leave. Someone was dismissed from the city. People can be injured or sick. What's the problem?
I don't believe that talking about an employee's status on protected maternity leave is an appropriate thing for you to be doing from
I
here.
was pointing out more than just maternity leave. There are injury leaves, people on vacation.
I don't think you can talk about those things either.
It doesn't matter. People are gone, and people have to step up to the plate. Let me tell you a little more about these, what I consider outrageous requests. One of the individuals who is filling in because someone is gone is going to be doing so for approximately 3 months. They asked the personnel committee for 2 weeks of vacation for doing this above and beyond duty. The second person who had already done a job for, I don't know how long it was, whenever we got rid of our Public Works Director, 3-4 months, I believe, was the time period, granted us 2 options that they would have accepted. One was, give me $2 an hour and 2 weeks vacation for that time period in question. The second option was, if we didn't want to give that individual the money, just give me 5 weeks of vacation. Now, in both of these requests, if you do the math, this is coming out to about, on one of them, close to a day a week for doing extra work. The other one came out closer to a day and a half if you took the 5 weeks. As we all know, if you've ever looked at job descriptions, and I've looked at plenty in my life, there is usually a sentence near the end of this job description, and what it generically says is, and all other duties as assigned. Not all other duties as assigned for a week or 3 months or a year, just that you are to do that. And I think of all the people in this town that do not have the cushy city job.
Wait a minute.
And this, no, shut up. I am so
Bill?
pissed that these people, and Morris, I understand because one of them's your daughter,
Right.
and you cannot vote on this.
No, I know.
We cannot let this go on. John will attest that during this committee meeting, I argued strongly for absolutely nothing. And I apologize for this, gave in to peer pressure and agreed to the 3 days. But ever since that committee meeting, every day I've gotten more and more irritated and pissed at the gall of these people to come forward and ask for this crap. Our union people, police or public works, they can't come forward and ask for this. They're bound by contract and city vacation schedules. We have to stop this crap now. We cannot have this Pandora's box kept open. We must stop the inmates from running the asylum. And with that, I will make a motion that we deny these vacation requests.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Are you aware of the wage study that the city conducted prior to you rejoining us here on council that showed unequivocally that but for a couple positions, am I right here? But for a couple positions that were paid above a median, all others were well below. So all of these employees that you're talking about were making less than their peers doing the same job for years and years. We've recently corrected that. Did that factor in at all to your emotional response to this request?
Right.
Years of being underpaid. Would that make someone angry? Would it make you angry if you were underpaid, your peers making something?
And also, I'm going to say too, like you mentioned about my daughter, she comes in here early in the mornings, late at nights, and weekends for just her regular job. And now she's got this other one. Plus, when Linnell's on vacation, she's also got to cover her.
Yes, and you know what?
You know what? That is crazy.
No, in the regular business world, this happens all the time.
It is, but it doesn't that way. That's wrong. Have you been working for a place? Man, I'll tell you, you don't see that.
That's how you lose good employees.
Yeah.
It might happen in business,
Yeah.
but that business would be afraid of losing that employee.
That's
and,
right.
And having a hard time replacing them. How easy has it been for us to find ourselves a new city administrator? You think we can just replace all city staff because you are not fond of the way they're treating their duties?
You people are nuts. I bet you the public supports my position more than yours.
I can't believe you equated those people with
Right.
cashiers.
Right.
No, what I was pointing out is the disparity with people that work for the city are well compensated, and now because they have to fill in for a few months in a team environment where we can get more people to help if they need it. You know, some things, yeah, gotta slide, but get the main.
Tell me who would you get to fill in that position, to help out? There is nobody.
Sure, we have lots of employees.
No, you don't.
Well, you can disagree, but my motion stands.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? Second. Do I hear a second? Not hearing one, motion fails by not getting a second.
So what we have in front of us, in contrast, are the Personnel Committee's recommendations.
3
To-
days is a joke, too.
Right.
Well, I'm the Personnel Committee, and 3 days is an insult to them, but I at least got 3 days.
Thank you, John.
Yes.
On behalf of, well, I guess I won't speak for anyone else, but I would like those city employees and all the others who stepped up to know how grateful the city and its residents are for their seamless provision of services to the residents. They didn't balk, they didn't not do it, they're just asking for a breather now that they've done multiple people's jobs for a period of time. Feels very human to me. So I'm glad that we have them here when we need them. And I will make a motion that we adopt the Personnel Committee's recommendations with respect to these 2 employees.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
One question I have
Yes.
is, are we setting a precedent by doing this?
Too late. I think that precedent's long past. I remember Linnell got more vacation when, it's
Right.
kind of a thing.
She still did.
Versus changing wages, which starts to throw off wage step stuff.
Right.
Right? Because that's how a person would earn in the business world. You might earn yourself a raise if you stepped up to the plate for 3 months. But we can't do that because that throws off our whole wage step stuff. So what we do is I think this is the way of offsetting that in terms of compensation.
You know, Linnell told us in that meeting that we are not allowed to give city employees bonuses. By giving vacation days, you are giving them a bonus. It's certainly accounted for differently in the books and how it's taxed.
Now, Linnell's telling you that, but yet she's getting extra vacation also?
Yeah.
Huh?
well, I wasn't
So what's the
sure.
difference there?
He didn't get an opportunity to yell about that one. So he wasn't on the council yet.
Yeah, I would not have given what you did to Linnell.
Yeah.
No.
I would have given her something.
Well, as long as we're on the subject, let's talk about Linnell a little bit. I think there was a mistake made when we,
I might say
Yeah.
we've
Well,
got
yeah,
a,
we
we've got a
gotta-
second
yeah.
already, and Derek, did you
Right,
make
and
the
we'd
second,
be
or was it
better
you,
to-
Ken? I missed Derek. So we've got a motion and a second on the floor. I don't recall what the specifics on the motion
It was
was.
to adopt the Personnel Committee's
As
recommendations.
recommended by the memo.
Yes.
Okay, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I gotta abstain. You two vote?
I said aye.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, it passes.
opposed.
Do we have opposed or any
Any
abstained?
opposed? I abstained.
Okay.
Okay, next one is annual funding agreements. John?
well, I just want to bring that up. The funding agreements are okay, but it's signed by Ron Johnson. It probably should be signed by Linnell Acting
needs to be corrected.
Administrator.
Right.
With that, I'd approve it.
Anybody second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
And forgive me, I was jotting down the change. It was John and Bill that made them.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. With that, staff.
Just a quick update on the street project. The contractor's making good progress. All of the mains are in from Oak Street to the school. They'll spend the rest of the week or so working on services and storm sewer. Saturday, they're going to reclaim the west half of Minnesota and Cedar, grind it up and by making a gravel surface. And maybe later next week, they'll start working on that area as they start wrapping up the east half of the project and getting ready for putting those streets back together. So they're making good progress, and just a heads up on the Saturday reclaiming and moving west.
That's great.
Thanks, Greg.
Summer reading is wrapping up this week. The wrap-up party is this Thursday. I believe it's at 1. It's going to be Jason Hunicke. I don't know how to say his last name. I think I don't remember what he does either. But it's going to be this on Thursday afternoon.
Is he the juggler?
I think he is
I
the
think so.
juggler. Yeah. But I didn't want to say the wrong thing. So, yeah, and that's basically all I've got right now.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you. Sam,
Sam?
our fire chief at this time.
Yes, I'll talk on fire chief business today. Just want everybody, we got our street dance coming up next Saturday on the 28th. So there'll be a road closure coming up with that. So I'll work with Jeff. We'll get our no parking signs posted, and then we'll get things barricaded off in the afternoon once we start doing the stage setup. Gates open at 6, $10 for everybody, 5 for 12 and under. Band starts at 8. It's Diesel Drive, kind of a local band. They're Dover Iota area, kind of a group down there that originated down there. So come out and support
Good
us
deal.
and have a good night. So have a safe night.
Jeff,
Mike brought up the fireman's dance. I hope that'll be a successful event for him. Always brings in good crowds. A lot of them stick around in the downtown. We will have extra staff on that night just to be present. We found that just hanging out in front of the bars downtown after the fireman's dance is over, visiting with people, has really cut down on the problems that used to occur. And so it's been a very good strategy for us. We're going to continue that this year.
great.
The other event that has wrapped up is the fair. Thank you again to the council for giving us the flexibility for parking. They had another very, very good evening for their demo derby. We ended up having to put cars into the area behind the pool and then even open up Lower Hannah's Bend for a few vehicles. So that was a very successful event. Mike covered that. Before our next meeting, we will have Cannon Cruisers. They're going on August 2nd. That won't entail too much as far as, impact on just driving through the community. I don't know the exact route they're going to take yet, but, for people trying to get from A to B, it may cause a little bit of delay, but it's a great opportunity to see some cars people have put a lot of love and care into, and really some very nice classic vehicles. There will be an impact in the city lot and downtown area that evening. We'll be posting that no parking for them, and when they come back, so they can come back and park in as a group. Other than that, I think everything else will be after the next meeting. I can update then.
That's good. Bill?
Unfortunately, tonight, the city lost. What was voted on to give these things is going to open the door to more people coming for things because they think they're above and beyond what is done on their job. Morale here will be destroyed.
It already is destroyed.
And when we do finally get around to interviewing for a new administrator, one of my questions is going to be, are you willing to do what it takes to clean house? Because this house needs to be seriously cleaned. That's it.
Okay. You can bring them up.
Yeah.
Relax.
So we talked about the dog park tonight. The dog park has been in the works, in idea and forming. I'm sorry, I'm losing my words right here. Okay. The dog park is coming to fruition. I'm glad to say. We have a bid that we like for the fencing, and that's kind of that's the most important ingredient in a dog park, one might say. We have a little tinkering to do with it to make sure it has a gate that will be wide enough to accommodate mowers and other city equipment going to and fro. But once that's done, the fencing should be installed this summer, and right, maybe, right? And so look forward to a ribbon cutting ceremony and bring your dog, your licensed dog.
Where is this park going to be located?
Where will the park be located, Ken?
That'll be between the sanitation plant and Archie Field, number 1. Is it number 1? I get it mixed up, which.
Yeah, it would be between the water treatment plant and the first ball field to the east.
Okay.
Yep,
Right.
correct.
Nice spot.
Nice area.
Another thing we accomplished at Public Works this evening was to determine that the alleyways between Almond and the park will be all one-way going east. They will no longer be bilateral, bidirect, I don't know how you say it. Two-way?
Bidirectional.
They will no longer be two-way, they will be one-way headed east. This is to increase safety, cut down on some teens with lead foots cruising through alleys that are home to a lot of children and animals. And so we're going to be instituting that along with the construction that's already occurring in that area, so it seems like a good time. The city has agreed to play an active role in letting their students know about this change, so we're not counting on them to actually read signs, but we will coach them on proper traffic etiquette in the area. And that's what we have from Public Works. And if you're a city employee and you're listening to this meeting tonight, have no fear, you are valued, I promise.
John?
I'll just give an update on the fair. It was a very successful fair. The gates were up, the grandstands were up, and the Fair Board appreciates your support.
Okay.
Nothing today.
Okay. Ken?
Well, Cedar kind of stole my thunder on the dog park, but that's okay. We discussed it at Public Works, so I will talk to Wes and see about getting that change on the quote so we can hopefully get it moved forward for our next meeting.
Okay. Well, I've got one thing that I'd like to have you ponder about till possibly the next meeting. If we don't have an outstanding candidate for city administration position, we need to do something different now. With budgets, elections, and so forth, Linnell has said she will be swamped. What if we go ahead get a hold of the League of Minnesota and get a retired city administrator as an intern to go probably till February or something like that.
From what I understand, the second round of applicants looked a lot better, is what I'm being told.
Okay, that's fine, but I mean, I think that's another option in case they're not, so that we know.
Because it'll be probably, I'm guessing, mid-August when we will
Right.
probably be close to interviewing.
Right. And there too, if it is, this time around, though, the council will be involved in the hiring. The last time it was not.
So if we add that together, though, so if you're talking about August to interview in the second round, and then they have to give their notice, even if, like, after those considerations, it does seem like having an interim person so that whatever candidate we selected isn't, they might have to move, I mean, you
Right,
know.
there's a lot of other stuff.
That
That's
seems like a
why
good
I'm
idea.
saying it's just would help. Linnell can do her job, everybody else, and go from there.
What does it take to get,
But it
That
would
kind of
just,
thing.
right now, I'm just saying, think about it.
yeah.
I'm not, don't want to
The
do
league,
anything right
the league
now.
maintains a list of
Yeah,
retired administrators
stand-ins?
that do this.
that, yes, would come in for, the city. They would send you more than one, so you would have the opportunity to look at several
Yeah.
and select a candidate if that was the
Yeah.
direction you would go.
It wouldn't be the first time we've done, we did it before we hired Tim on the ambulance service, and somehow they had a list of people that were available,
That
or how they
one
came up with
didn't come in
him.
from the league.
That wasn't from the league. But we did an interim for,
Yeah.
geez.
Yeah,
quite a few
we
months
utilized an
until
interim
we got
there.
some
That's a good idea, Mark.
I'm
I
just
like
saying,
that.
I mean, it just, that way we're
That
not,
was the thing, so
it
thank
just
you.
makes it so much better, I think.
Gives you room to make a good decision, not feel
Right.
rushed.
Right.
Too.
So let's
And it
not
would take
rush.
stress off of Linnell, too.
Yep,
Yeah,
I like all of that.
yeah, just take the pressure because,
I think if you're going to look at that option, one of the things that, Bill, you talked about your timeline, would be trying to figure out roughly your timeline when you would think somebody would start. Some of them may only do, like 6 months or, a year.
Right.
And I think
And being able to
before-
give that to the league as
Right.
what you're looking for would help you in selecting, a candidate pool that would
and
fit
that
your
will help
needs.
us here.
Right, and before our next council meeting on the 7th, I'm sure personnel will be meeting to talk about an update on where we're at.
Before
Because
that
we've had
next
people on
one or something.
vacation, so, and things just, it was kind of a perfect storm here. So,
As I'm taking options, is this or not options, but as I'm taking notes, is this something that you would request staff check into? So you'd have more information on that option?
I would say
Yes,
so.
please.
And I think maybe Personnel Committee evaluates that, right?
Yeah, we
I don't think the
we
whole
have to route
council
it
needs
back
to.
Personnel.
Yeah.
Right.
If council is saying that,
Yep.
consensus, we'd at least like to have them have this information to consider.
yeah,
Yeah.
Linnell,
Yeah.
So
being
they
back
have it.
next week could
Yep,
put
I'll
together a
prep an
list
email
and
to
we
her
can
and
look
let her
at
know
that.
the information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea, Morris.
I think it'd take a lot of pressure off. Okay, without that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
I apologize.